Subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell icon for the latest film interviews, features, and recommendations on the movies that matter.
This is Louis, and he is 7 years old, and we found him under the car, and he's my little Lion King. This is Arya, and she is 7 years old. This is what she does for fun. Do I look like a Bond villain right
You
now?
do actually
Do
have
I?
the
I look like a Bond villain, like the world's happiest Bond villain.
So this is Louis,
This is Louis.
and Arya is somewhere.
Arya is around scoping the scene. She will join us if she feels like it.
I have to ask: is he named after King Louis from Jungle Book?
Well, there's a very unfortunate story with this poor gentleman's name. He was named after Louis C.K. And then we all know what Louis C.K. did. So now the story is that yes, he is in fact named after King Louis from the Jungle Book. So let's go with your version.
Okay.
Let's go with your version. And Arya is named after Arya Stark, of course.
Of course.
From Game. The only character who redeemed herself
That's
thoroughly
right.
and beautifully
That's
in
right,
season
on
8
the
with
show.
no problem.
True.
So that was, because it was a choice between Arya and Khaleesi.
Right.
And I'm so glad I went with Arya.
Of course.
Like, so glad.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ron, when did they come into your life? Were you always a cat person? Is it fair to call you a cat person? Because I know there's a dog in the family as
There
well.
is. I'm a any squishy pet person.
Okay.
I'm an any squishy pet person. I grew up with a dog at home. And then we lost her when I was still growing up, like 14 years old. And in 2012, Shaheen and I went for a wedding. And it started raining and we walked inside, and suddenly from under one of the tables, this soaking wet little bag crawls out, looking starving. And Shaheen picks her up immediately and goes, oh no, we have to sort of tend to this cat and find her a home. Can you keep her for one night? I was like, oh God, I can't believe I have to do this. Fine, I will keep this cat for one night. And next thing I know, 1 week later, she's like, hey, I've found someone who might want to take her. And I'm like, nobody touches my daughter. Nobody. And that's it.
And
She
that's
was
Arya.
mine. And that's Arya. And then 6 months later, he was found under a car, cowering from some dogs. And took him home. He came and sat here in my neck. And again, he was just mine since. And so since 2012, 2013.
You said Louis is pretty much like a dog.
Yes, he is. He is pretty much like a dog. Even there, look at him. He's sitting
Yeah.
there right now, like a dog would sit at your feet, and he's basking in the attention.
Right.
He's more than happy for it. So yeah, he's like, I'll give you an example live right here, right now. Dog move.
Do they get along?
They do get along. They have this brother-sister relationship where there are
Okay.
times where they're like fighting like crazy, and there's other times where they can't do without each other. She once, when she was a kitten, she gave us a bit of a heart attack by running away for 24 hours.
Wow.
Nobody was more distraught than this guy.
Okay.
Like nobody. Like we were all distraught. When she came back, like for a full 24 hours after that, he refused to talk to her. He sulked at her. He was like, how dare you? It was great. And she sort of had to win his love back.
Right.
So like brother and sister, they fight sometimes, and the other times where he's like, now like this is one of those times where a fight is about to occur. As you can see, the pounce position has been
Yeah.
zoomed, and there we go.
Whoa. Should I
There,
be
you got to
scared?
show. No, not at all. You just got to show. There we go. Hi. And this is typical sibling, this thing. Comes and
Right.
sits next to mom or dad, whatever. I'm both. So
Right.
comes and sits next to me. Now she knows that he can't hurt her.
You are single parent.
I am. I'm basically a single parent. I am.
Right.
I'm a single parent of 2 teenagers, basically. It's great. It's amazing. I love it.
There is the impression that cats are very low maintenance. Is that true?
That is actually completely true. So I live alone. I
Yeah.
travel a fair amount for work. But so for example, it takes months to toilet train a dog, but it takes exactly 20 minutes to toilet train a cat.
Wow.
All I had to do was watch her. And the first time she went towards the pillow and started digging at it, this thing, I just picked her up, put her in a little litter box. She's like, perfect. Digs around in it, does her business, never needed to show her again. It's as simple as that.
Wow.
It's like getting one of those things that just plays direct out of the box.
Right.
It's great. Also, they're self-cleaning. They go out, they use their litter box, they come back, they clean themselves. They don't really need to be bathed very often. They eat, they drink, they sleep. They spend like 16 hours of the day asleep. lucky fellows.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. That's their life, and they're extremely chill. And if you have one, two is like it doesn't double the maintenance at all, because
Okay.
two is essentially, other than just doubling your food amounts,
Right.
that's it. I mean,
But you said you travel extensively, which
Yes.
you do. What happens? I mean, do you dogs? I know need to be left with left
Yes.
in the care of people.
Yes.
Do these guys just take care of themselves? I mean, if it's
So-
not a terribly long period of time.
So the first time I traveled, what I did was I went and dropped them off at my parents' place.
Right.
And when I came back, what I realized is they were really distraught at the fact that they'd been moved to a new place. Plus,
Right.
I wasn't
So they
there.
get attached to the
then I did
place.
some reading. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Cats get attached to the place as much as they do to the person.
Hmm.
This is their castle. So the next time I traveled, I tried an experiment. I had a friend looking in on them and my housekeeper there, but I just left them here.
Right.
And I realized they were completely at ease. Like if it was a 1 or 2 day trip, there were times where they didn't even know I was gone.
Wow. Okay.
Because I mean, I'm out sometimes 12, 13, 14 hours a day, working, shooting, whatever. So they're used to me being gone for like those longest stretches of time.
Right.
Also, I have a water bowl that essentially has about 10 days worth of water in it at all times. And when my housekeeper's in every single day, and she leaves enough food to make sure that in a worst case situation, even if she skips a day, they've
Right.
got 24 hours of food with them, though that's never happened,
Right.
touch wood. And if I take a longer trip, friends of mine actually run this service called Guardians of the Poor.
Nice.
Where what they'll do is they'll come to your house before you leave, and they'll spend some time with the cats in your company.
Okay.
And they'll have you
So they
fill
get
out,
used
so
to
they
it,
get
right.
used to it, and then they'll have you fill out a super detailed form about everything from are there any illnesses, are there any this thing, who's the
Right.
vet, what's their food, what's all of that. And they'll come in and play with your cats for an hour every single day.
Nice.
And then leave. So because all they need is that slight love and human contact.
What happens when you have friends with allergies?
Well, when I have friends with allergies, thing is, well, so far I've been lucky, not
Right.
too many friends with allergies. Also, if I do have a friend who has a serious allergy, what I'll do is while they're over, I'll just put them in another room
Sure.
to make them comfortable. And along with drinks and snacks, I will also offer my friends strong antihistamines.
Right.
As a cat parent, you always have antihistamines
Around,
ready
right.
to go. Antihistamines, antiseptic, and band-aids. Those are 3 things that as a cat parent you always have.
I was going to come to that. I mean, this is all their work, I would imagine.
This is absolutely 100% their work, and this is the second set of covers
Oh, wow.
that they're going through. So you have to be ready for an upholstery bill.
There's also this notion that I read about that declawing them. A
Right.
lot of people think that declawing is just like trimming the nails, but apparently it's not.
No. Like declawing them is the equivalent of literally me pulling your fingernails out for good versus cutting your nails. One is just something you do for hygiene.
Right.
The other thing is the sort of thing that would make you look at yourself and have a psychological impact on you.
Right.
So when you declaw a cat, it can have psychological impacts on them because you're essentially robbing them of one of their natural protective systems. So which
Right.
is why I just lightly clip just the tips every couple
So
of
what
weeks.
you're saying is that if you have a problem with this, don't get cats.
Don't get cats. Yeah, beyond a point, don't get cats. Get a scratching post. But it's like, look, it's like having a child in that sense.
Yeah.
Like if your child is going to draw on the walls, you're not going to cut your kid's hands off. You're just going to have to deal with the fact that once in a way your walls are going to have to get painted over. So you're going to have to put furniture there to deal with it. That's
Right.
the cost of living, and that's
Sure.
the cost of loving these creatures. That's fine.
So the other misconception is that they're lazy as hell.
Oh God, no! That's super. Do your
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, it should
So the interest is directly proportional to the amount of motion and sound that you create.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel
There
like
you
she's
go.
telling me, get this out of my face. No?
Not at all.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay,
There we
okay,
go.
yeah.
It's a battle now. You're not challenging him.
Okay.
That's what you're doing. It's not. It's got to be
Ah, okay. I was being sort of polite first date
not
and all,
even
you know?
slightly. There
Whoa,
we go.
whoa, whoa, okay. Whoa, okay.
The thing is, they both have very different fighting styles.
Right.
He just takes every shot he gets. She retreats, watches strategically, and strikes like a viper when the moment is right. It's great. Like he's just this dumb brute,
Right.
and she's a strategic Black Widow style fighter. It's great. It's Hulk and Natasha.
Well, you've also been very active in sort of encouraging people to adopt cats, and,
Yes.
and that's very important.
Yes, it's extremely important to me for multiple reasons. One is there genuinely are a ton of just scared, lonely, tiny, vulnerable cats and dogs on the street. Also, breeding is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Breeding is an absolute nightmare. It is one of the most cruel things in the world. The conditions in which like hybrid animals are kept in order to make it happen is terrifying. The sort of genetic variations we've reached as a result of that sort of focused breeding are terrifying.
Right.
And I just, in a world where there's a cat or a dog to be found under every car, I just find the idea of somebody like putting down money
Right.
to take another one home just because it's a classier animal.
Yeah.
I just find that idea a little head shaking, a little
Sure.
head scratching to me. And because at the end of the day, an animal's love is an animal's love. Right?
Right.
Whether it's a stray, whether it's whatever.
But that is
And
true, isn't it? There are a lot of people just want the fancy looking ones.
Yeah,
They want the one that
absolutely.
looks good in pictures.
Everybody wants the most Instagrammable
Right,
thing, right?
right.
These days, everybody wants the most Instagrammable thing.
Right.
And yet here Rajiv is interviewing me and my 2 strays. So suck it, people who have bred animals. So yeah.
You know, when you're, I mean, you're a bachelor.
Yes.
You live alone. When you're dating, I mean, is that,
Yes.
you know, are they, is that an issue? I mean, do you have, you know, prospective girlfriends who are turned off?
I mean, like, so the good thing is you find out early, right?
Right.
So like, for example, if you're on a dating app and somebody says, I don't like cats, then
Right.
you just go,
Is
well...
that a
It is
kind of-
for, it's not a deal
a
breaker.
deal
in the sense,
breaker,
How
yeah.
can you not like cats? But it's just like, well, I have 2 of them and
Right.
they're not going anywhere.
Correct.
So this is obviously going to be
This
a
is
problem.
pretty much single parent.
This is single
kind of
parenting.
behavior,
I have 2 of them,
yeah.
they're not going anywhere. I love them very much. So I guess it's just better to then avoid that situation entirely.
right.
And in other cases, it's the other way around actually. They're excellent wing people in the sense that they're adorable. They're very loving towards me when people come over, especially. So then people think I'm also lovable.
Right.
And it's so yeah, both ways. And otherwise, they're just around doing their thing. And occasionally, people will come over who are not cat friendly at all and be like won over by them. So there we go. They do great PR for themselves.
Yeah. Do they like the occasional treat?
They love the occasional treat.
Should
Would
we
you
give
please?
it a shot? Yeah.
You have successfully purchased their love.
It's funny how much they're like
Yeah,
humans.
believe that. Yeah, exactly like that. Just feed them what they like. They're
Oh.
yours forever.
More sure.
Sure, why not?
Okay, I do feel like I'm this much closer, maybe just a little bit
Yeah, just a little
closer
bit.
to the idea of
There we go.
perhaps. This wasn't so difficult.
Not at all.
We've chatted with some dog parents, but this was great fun. Thank you, Rohan.
I'm so
I
glad.
feel like,
And thank you for coming over and meeting my cats.
Thank you for
and,
allowing us into the home. Thank you for
Not at
sort of
all.
allowing us to meet the kids.
No, well, absolutely. The kids were
I
very
have to say
happy
they
to
were
meet
quite
you.
well behaved. They're
Thank
well
you. I'm
behaved.
so glad to hear that. As
You've
a
done
parent,
well.
I'm
You've
relieved.
done so
Thank you.
well.
Thank you so much.